U.S. Air Force F-16 female fighter jet pilot takes off at high speed. They called her Valkyrie on the base, not just for her lightning reflexes, but for the way she seemed to summon storms in the skies. On a day that began like any other, Captain Eliza Rae zipped into her flight suit and walked across the tarmac. Unaware that her high-speed takeoff would be more than just routine, it would determine whether hundreds lived or died. Story: the calm before. The Nevada sun was just beginning to rise over Nellis Air Force Base, casting a golden glow across the flight line. Captain Eliza Rae stood beside her F-16 Viper, helmet tucked under her arm, the desert wind tossing her auburn hair around her eyes. Her crew chief gave her a nod. "Everything checks out, Captain. Clean bird today." She smirked. "Good. She'll need to be fast." What no one knew, not her commander, not her ground crew, not even the intelligence analysts, was that Eliza had received a message the night before. A coded text sent through a secure, almost forgotten channel. Red Echo. Flight risk 5. Watch the sky. Trust no one. It was a ghost signal, part of an obsolete emergency protocol used only when a mole was suspected inside the base. And now she had 24 minutes before her training mission would begin. But this was no training mission anymore. Valkyrie's origin. Eliza Rae had been flying since she was 17. The daughter of a Vietnam veteran and a NASA technician, she grew up with jet engines in her blood. By 27, she was one of the youngest female fighter pilots to be assigned full command over an F-16 squadron. She earned the call sign Valkyrie during a mission over the Baltic, when a systems failure forced her to guide a burning F-16 home with only partial controls, saving the life of a fellow pilot. Since then, she'd earned respect. But also enemies. Not all of them foreign. The launch code. Back in the ready room, she laced up her boots and tapped into her encrypted tablet. The message had a hidden layer: coordinates. Somewhere over Arizona airspace, a stolen communications satellite was about to be used as a dead man switch. If it went online, it would transmit coordinates of every stealth squadron currently active in the Middle East to hostile forces. It had to be destroyed midair, before it aligned with its orbital relay. The problem? It was cloaked, moving, and in 30 minutes, it would be invisible to radar. Which meant Eliza had less than 15 minutes to take off and intercept an enemy she couldn't even see. Her commander, unaware of the covert alert, was already walking toward her hangar. Trust no one. Colonel Granger was a stern man. Veteran of 2 Gulf conflicts, decorated, respected, but something about him had always seemed rehearsed, polished, predictable. "Rae," he called, "you're cleared for your morning training run. Make it clean. Routine." Eliza gave a tight nod but didn't salute. "Understood, sir." She could feel his eyes on her back as she climbed the ladder into her F-16. As she strapped in, the inner alarm bells roared louder than her engines. She had a feeling someone didn't want her to come back from this flight. She powered up the jet. "Tower, this is Valkyrie requesting clearance for immediate high-speed departure. Training mission parameters." A long pause. "Cleared runway 22 left. Proceed." The takeoff. As her wheels kissed the runway, she punched the throttle. The General Electric engine screamed to life, slamming her back into her seat. Mach 0.8. Mach 1.0. She felt the familiar rattle in her ribs as she broke the sound barrier, soaring into the morning sky. She pulled hard east, away from her supposed training route. "Valkyrie, you've deviated from your flight plan," the tower barked in her headset. "Confirming navigation recalibration. Slight turbulence." "We'll correct," she lied. Below her, Granger was already on the phone. Something told her she wouldn't have a friendly reception when she landed, if she landed. The invisible threat. Her radar was quiet. Too quiet. Eliza switched her HUD to wideband frequency. The sky looked empty, but something in the atmosphere shimmered at 80,000 feet. Her jet's AI pinged a trace echo, a faint digital shadow against the curvature of the Earth. "There you are." The satellite drone was about the size of a small car, spinning silently, wrapped in radar-absorbing material. Its core was charging. If she waited too long, it would transmit. She armed her Sidewinder missiles. Locked in. But the satellite had defenses. A blinding EMP pulse burst from the object, frying her HUD. The cockpit lights flickered. Her targeting system went blind. Flying blind. Most pilots would have disengaged. Fallen back. Called it in. But Valkyrie wasn't like most pilots. She switched to manual targeting. Dived. The G-forces crushed her chest, made her vision tunnel. Her breathing grew shallow. She had a 6-second window to launch a blind shot and hit a moving, cloaked object with no radar lock. And if she missed, it would disappear forever. She whispered to herself, "Dad, I hope you're watching." Pulled the trigger. The missile screamed through the sky. Nothing. 1 second. 2, 3. And then, asterisk, asterisk. Boom. Asterisk, asterisk. The sky lit up in a flash of silver and blue. The drone was gone. Betrayal confirmed. On her flight back, her comms lit up. "Valkyrie, you are ordered to divert to Outpost Echo for debrief." That wasn't standard. Outpost Echo was used only for internal investigations. And only one person could have ordered that. Colonel Granger. He knew. But she had proof now: black box telemetry, satellite ID, engagement log. All of it auto-downloaded into her onboard system. Enough to prove the drone's origin and the traitor behind it. When she landed, MPs were waiting. But so was the NSA. The real target. What she didn't know, what no one knew, was that the drone had a backup. A signal had already been sent, not to enemies overseas, but to a hard drive inside Nellis itself. The mole wasn't just trying to expose coordinates. He was trying to start a war. Eliza handed over her data to the NSA team, who stormed Granger's office minutes later. Inside, they found encrypted files, burner phones, and a direct communications link to an overseas paramilitary group. He never saw it coming. The sky never lies. Weeks later, Eliza Rae stood again at the edge of the runway. Her squadron was safe. The breach was closed. And Granger, facing federal charges for espionage and conspiracy. She looked up at the sky, now clear and golden once more. The headlines would read, "Fighter pilot saves base from internal threat." But for Eliza, it was simpler. You don't fly because it's easy. You fly because when the sky calls, you answer. Even if no one else believes you. Even if you're flying blind. Because sometimes, the only thing between silence and destruction is the sound of jet engines screaming into the dawn. The end.